Welcome back to another I Made a Map and I'm going to talk about it video. Today is my April Fool's project that I've actually been putting effort into. Every year I'm like, I should do something for April Fool's, and this is always comes to mind at like March 29th, 30th, 31st, the last few days I don't have the time to do something that I want to do that's like high effort and funny enough in my opinion. And this year I have made the worst joke I have ever made, which is a Sisyphus roguelite. I had this idea a while ago after I watched a video by a YouTube channel named Dingus Labs, and I also seen Barf Creations' BarfX Physics Sim, and we'll get into the map right now. And this is an idea I had, and I was like, I just have to make it because it's so dumb, and I thought I'd release it April 1st because it's such a practical joke. But this is the map. We have a little bit of a loading screen there, and we have our boulder here, and we're going to talk about physics first, because initially this was inspired by BarfX, but a while after I had started working on the map, Seth Bling started working on his physics system, somewhat inspired by BarfX and some other pack that came out, or plugin, or fabric mod, something that used display entity, but not to explain Seth Bling's history of his physics thing. But basically, this isn't using BarfX, which initially what I was planning on using. It uses Seth Bling's, and I did talk to him about it, and I do have permission to use it. And the reason I'm using Seth Bling's over BarfX's is specifically the collision type, because BarfX is good for performance because it only does vertex collisions. Basically, if I am to have this collide with the corner of a block and have it roll, it rolling off the corner, it wouldn't collide on the edge. It would sort of clip through corners. And it looked bad and it felt bad. It's decent for flat terrain and a lot of objects, but I don't need the performance gain. I need decent gameplay. But using Seth Bling's did come with the downside of having to understand Seth Bling's code, because he uses a compiler for his code, meaning it's not very readable. Whenever you have it in the MC function format, it's very difficult to understand what is happening in the code. It gets very convoluted, but I managed to figure it out. I had to reverse engineer a lot of his stuff, but I needed to be able to actually interface with it in the ways that I need to interface, which is to respawn the block as needed, because if it falls off I need it to reappear. I need to be able to apply motion impulses to it, and that's it. Actually, there is two kind of things I'm doing here, but they're the same thing, just with a different coat of paint. Basically, I apply a single fairly powerful impulse here. If you sprint, it goes further. And then this here is a bunch of impulses. Basically, I made a math utility, which I might talk about at some point in the future because it's really cursed and terrible and bad, but really useful. Basically, I made a math utility that can tell me how far apart 2 points are. And I would take the point that is sort of vaguely in front of the player, as you can see here, and I take the point of the block. And I take the distance, and I apply an impulse of this that is that distance in power, and the vector facing between the 2 points. So basically it just always ends up there, but that allows you, oh, by the way, spoilers for a lot of stuff in this map. If you want to sort of explore and figure out the stupidity of this map by yourself, go ahead. It's pretty fun, kind of. You don't even have to push the boulder up the mountain to experience a lot of the stuff in this map. But basically, that allows me to do this. You can throw the block, which is really fun. You can just hurl it off. There is, let's see if I can do it. Come on. I'm a little rusty, and it's a little more difficult to do when I'm recording because my frame rate's lower. Come on. I'm trying to get it to go flying. There we go. There we go. Challenge advancement. There are challenges in this map. There is wrong way, which is throw the boulder really far the wrong way. You basically just toss it. But that sort of physics quirk allows me to do that. And you can throw it upwards by jumping and releasing. And this little bar here, you might have noticed it got longer because I gained some stamina from completing that achievement. There are a few ways to get stamina, and we'll be going over them as we go. One of them is to actually finish this mountain. we'll get into the actual gameplay now. Basically, every day, you get a unique mountain. Now, I say unique, but it's actually seeded generation based on the day in Unix time. So what day this is past January 1st, 1970 is the seed. And that is... that makes it so the mountains are the same for everyone. Because I kind of like the idea of something like Wordle, where it's everyone is doing the same thing in a day, but, you know, you complete it differently. I'm probably not going to be able to complete this mountain today. And if you look up here, there is the potential reward, and that's been going down. It starts at 8, and, whoops, where we're going to... I wanted a cheat, but I can't cheat because it's, you know, I have cheats disabled. Today's mountain is very difficult. It might actually not even be possible. I might have made an impossible mountain. I mean, the terrain generation, technically, you can probably do this one, but we're not doing it. This one, since it is random generation, I cannot truly ensure that a mountain is possible. Yeah, this one's possible. You can get up here. You just need to sort of punch it up onto this ledge and then go from here. But basically, the reward goes down. It starts at 8, and then after 4 minutes, it goes down to 4, and then that's the minimum it'll ever be. So you can always get 4 credits, and there's also a login reward. So every day that you log into the map, you get some more credits. And me teleporting it messes up the visual, so we'll respawn that boulder. But basically, you get a minimum of 4 credits, and every day you log in, you can get a login reward. And that login reward is based on the amount of days in a row you've logged in. So if I log in today and then I log in tomorrow I get 1 credit as a login reward. And the day after that I get 2, and then 3, and 4, and so on. So that's a pretty reliable way of getting credits without having to actually finish the map. But as you see, I also got 1 stamina from completing the mountain there. Basically, it's like exercise. Every day you complete the mountain, you get an extra stamina, but if you miss a day, you lose that stamina. It degrades over time. So if you have like 30 stamina built up from completing this 30 days in a row, and then you miss 4 days, you'd lose 4 of that stamina, but then you can continue to build it up. It sort of keeps track of the days you miss. And I have a bunch of stuff that does that, but I think that's pretty much the only thing that degrades over time. The only other stuff sort of stuff here resetting over the day, and there's a few things here, the flowers that'll grow here change every day, but we'll get to that here in a second. I think actually we'll get to that right now. We'll talk about watering. We're going to talk about the gardening features in this. This right here is another way to get stamina. As weird as that sounds, the tree is a way to gain stamina over time. You water your tree every day for 1 credit. Originally, I was going to make this free, and you just log in and water it as like your daily login reward. And it was going to degrade over time, so it was going to be an incentive, in quotes, to log in every day, was just to water your tree, and it didn't do anything. But over time, I sort of changed it so you get credits for logging in, and then you can water your tree for 1 credit. So you can effectively do the same thing, but I also turned it into a stamina gaining mechanic. If you sit here, and I'm going to go in free cam for a sec, and you can see the leaves change what they are over time. Sort of as you grow your tree, you gain more leaves, and if I roll a random position around the tree, and based on conditions decide whether or not to grow a leaf or to sort of age up a leaf into a different stage. But if you water it enough, you get your tree to bloom, and you get your advancement, and that also gives you an extra stamina. For every one of these blossoms on a tree, you gain 1 stamina. Let's see if we can grow the tree more. Next, I want to show the grass growing mechanic. As you can see here, grass starts to spread as you water it, and this is purely cosmetic. This does nothing. Let's give myself a little bit more. We'll be getting a flower right here soon. I know for sure we're getting one because the trees are personalized to your UUID. Every player has their own unique tree, meaning some players might not get all that much stamina from their tree very early on. Some players might get a bunch really quick. So it's completely random based on you. And I thought that was a neat little thing. And the flowers here change every day. So if you grow your flowers a bunch, you'll see different flowers every day. Just a little treat for your eyes. You can get some neat stuff. And that's the tree watering mechanic. The tree doesn't degrade over time. You can water it and leave for 30 years and come back and it'll be the exact same. But that's the watering. Next is the loot crate, which is the... I don't know. It's one of the stupider ideas I've had for this map, but I like it. I find it fun because it's silly. And this ties into your boulder skins. You can change what the boulder looks like. Let's open a crate, see what we get. We got cut sandstone, which is a common, I believe. Maybe uncommon? Yeah, it's uncommon. And now we have a different boulder. And this does nothing, by the way. There's no mechanic that well, there's one. I'm not going to spoil it. There's one thing I'm actually going to leave to be discovered, which is the one unique boulder skin that actually does something different. But you can unbox as many crates as you want in a day as long as you have the money for it. But every time you buy an additional crate, the price goes up by, I think, 1, maybe 2, I forget. We'll see. And it does a little animation, then it opens up, and I believe it is, yeah, it's 2 every time. And there is 6 tiers of skins. There's common, uncommon, and then you go down to rare, and then epic, and then legendary, and then rainbow, which is the lowest down one, so it must be the rarest. Let's look and see if we can get a rainbow skin. Come on. Damn it, come on. I want. This is one of my favorite jokes in the map, because it is the most common skin. It is every single colored block in the game. There are 6 per, and there are 16 colors, so there are 96 rainbow tier skins, and it's just the colored blocks. It's the most common, and it's horrible. But there is something else you can get from opening loot crates, and that is stamina upgrades. If I critical open, we get a challenge completed there. The critical opening is skill-based gambling. You can basically change the weights of the rolls to make it more likely to get stamina upgrades if you get a critical open. There are 2 chances to get a critical open per loot box open. So basically whenever you open a crate, it shakes 1, 2, and then it opens. Every time it does a bounce like that, you have the chance to do a critical. So I can click now, or I can click now. Damn it. I want to take off. It's very difficult to get that second one. I know the timing for the first, but not the second very well. But basically each one has a chance to get the... Damn it, I'm... Let's just try. I want to open a stamina bottle. Come on, come on. Stamina. I'm terrible at that second one. I always miss it. Clicked so late for that one. There we are. So that's a permanent stamina upgrade, and that is the last way you can get stamina upgrades. And that's the map, and I'm already up to 64 credits per crate. So yeah, that's the map more or less. I believe that's everything I wanted to talk about in my little list here. Yeah, there is the fun to be had. I want this mechanic of throwing has inspired me to make like a golf map or something, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. But we'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to talk about with this map. I didn't really want to go over too much of the tech stuff because there is... every time I open this map, I remember something about it. So there's too much for me to to remember to really go over in detail. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will catch y'all next time.